Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Grace Mooney and it has been an honor to serve as Student Council President this past year. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today as we recognize the outstanding accomplishments of each member of the class of 2020. Please join me in beginning this ceremony with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today, I am humbled in introducing, for the first time, the 2020 Plymouth High School Alumni Hall of Fame inductee. The Plymouth High School Alumni Hall of Fame was established in 2010 to recognize distinguished alumni and provide role models for current and future students. The ideal Hall of Fame candidate, first and foremost, has achieved a high level of success, but must also exhibit extraordinary leadership, be committed to making a difference in their respective field, and gives unselfishly to make their community and world a better place. Every spring, the Student Council Hall of Fame Committee receives new alumni nominations from the community. The committee then screens the applications, and after open debates, votes on electing the top candidate to be honored today at Commencement, and then this fall at the Homecoming Assembly. Our Hall of Fame inductee for 2020 is Chuck Schumacher, class of 1969. After graduating from UW-Madison in 1974, Mr. Schumacher has spent a lifetime helping the people of Southeast Asia. This included working with the Peace Corps in the Marshall Islands, Thailand, and Indonesia. Along the way, he earned 2 master's degrees in vocational education and business administration. The last 20 years of his career were spent in Thailand, working as the manager of the American Refugee Committee. Now retired, Mr. Schumacher splits his time between Thailand and the U.S. Mr. Schumacher was nominated by his friend, Barbara Drury Zimmerman. Congratulations, Mr. Schumacher. Next, here is Dr. Rauscher to introduce our class exemplar.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Jennifer Rauscher, PHS Principal, and I'm so excited to celebrate graduation with you in this unique way. Plymouth High School and our Plymouth community overall have a long-standing tradition of excellence. We have defined academic excellence as a pillar of our district, and we view our mission as helping all members of our community to see and be their personal bests. Pursuing excellence in this way requires us to continually look for new ways to support and challenge each other, and includes gracefully integrating tradition and innovation. Examples of this include the Wisconsin Academic Excellence Scholarship and the Wisconsin Technical Excellence Scholarship. This year, the Wisconsin Academic Excellence Scholarship, which recognizes our top academic achievers, was awarded to Sarah Kloss and Ashlyn Fleck. Additionally, the newer Wisconsin Technical Excellence Scholarship, which honors our top technical education students, was awarded to Matthew Tim and Austin Walker. Congratulations to our Wisconsin scholars. Another example of our commitment to excellence and innovation is our school board's decision to adopt a Laude system in order to recognize graduates for both high academic standing and rigorous course selections. From most to least rigorous, the designations are summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude. The recognition level is determined by multiplying students' GPAs at the end of their senior year by the number of advanced classes taken throughout their 4 years at PHS. You can see the levels our graduates have achieved in the colors of their graduation stoles. Students with orange stoles have earned cum laude status. Students with silver stoles have earned magna cum laude status. And students with gold stoles have earned summa cum laude status. You will also see students recognized on our school website. Additionally, in this system, students who have achieved any Laude status may apply to become class exemplar, an award and scholarship that is possible thanks to the generosity of the Ryan family. In selecting a class exemplar, we look for involvement, leadership, service, and passion. We look for a team player, a risk taker, a visionary. Most importantly, we look for someone with the willingness and determination not only to learn, but also to apply that learning in the future by giving back to our community. This year, we are proud to present Dallas Creasa as your 2020 Class Exemplar. Congratulations, Dallas.
Throughout our 4 years at PHS, we have all had our unique experiences that taught us who we are. We have learned so much, not only in the classroom, but arguably more outside of it. The balance of school and home, how to set goals, where our passions are, or who our friends are. However, there is one experience we have all gone through together. This spring caused changes for everyone and has taught us the biggest lesson of our high school careers: never to take a moment or opportunity for granted. The Trace Adkins song, "You're Gonna Miss This," has always made me tear up, but now it means more than ever. He sings about wishing days in your life didn't go by so fast, even if they didn't seem so magical in the moment. We've all heard it over and over again from the seniors before us. It feels like just yesterday we were freshmen. Now, I wouldn't say it has gone by quite that fast, but it didn't last as long as I thought it would. So how do we live in the moment? I encourage you to run for that office, go out for that club or sport, join the organization, or take that class that's different than any others, even if none of your friends are in it. We never know what opportunities are waiting for us if we just put ourselves out there and try new things. My best experiences from high school came from my sports and clubs. The bonds and families I formed with my teammates or other FFA members is something that will stick with me for a lifetime. And I know many of my classmates can say the same thing. In 8th grade, I always hated talking to adults, but I really wanted to join FFA to be on the dairy judging team. I tried telling my mom I didn't know where the ag room was, but she knew it was a lie. Instead, she encouraged me to get out of my comfort zone and reach for the opportunities waiting for me. Looking back, the connections, skills, and memories I made have been 100% worth it. All it took was me getting out of my comfort zone. Sometimes we have to make ourselves uncomfortable in order to take advantage of the opportunities waiting for us. The Safer at Home Act really showed many of us, including myself, the reality that you don't know what you had until it's gone. I know some of us even had a countdown of days left on March 13th, but that's the thing. We didn't know it was already at 1. So many of us missed spring sports seasons, our musical career got cut short, we lost some of our end of the year celebrations, or we even just missed the daily face-to-face interactions with our teachers and peers. These are things we will always remember, but it really goes to show, once something is gone, you really realize what you missed. Did we play that last game like it would be the last? Did we sing our heart out? Or cherish that last dance? The same goes with opportunities. Missing one may not seem like a big deal in the moment, but later down the road, you don't want to regret the chances you didn't take. Another thing we should never take for granted is our relationships. I think most of us didn't realize how much we would truly miss going to school every day and seeing our teachers and peers. I can't even count the number of times I thought I didn't want to be there. These times have really shown us how important those connections with other people are. How important it was to say good morning as I was walking through the halls, simply pass a smile, or the importance of the in-person lessons. One great thing about this situation, though, is we will all learn. We will all come out a different person. Experiences like this shape us into who we are, and how we react is what forms the mold for growth. We can choose to take these opportunities and make ourselves better, or we can let these times tear us down. Everyone will fall back, but no matter how much, in the end, our overall progress is what matters the most. Use this time to strengthen our relationships, take time for self-care, or even just take a step back and reflect on our busy lives. It isn't the end of our story, just another chapter. The last couple months has left us all with plenty of time to reflect on our experience in high school, myself included. Before the last couple months of our high school experience was completely flipped upside down, my speech looked entirely different. But throughout this time, reflecting has really taught me a lot about myself, and that is one thing I do thank the shutdown for. Although learning in the classroom may have become more difficult, Learning about ourselves has become easier. Some of us have learned how to study or how to teach ourselves, skills that will become helpful as we continue down our paths in the future, wherever that may be. Even in times like this, I learned we shouldn't take the opportunities for granted, because there is always a way we can grow, especially in the hard times. In the end, I don't think any numbers can define a successful high school career. Grades, GPA, points scored, medals earned, solos achieved, or even games won. They all stand for something, but I truly believe a successful high school career depends on our own reflection. If we had any regrets, anything we wish we would have done, if we know we tried our hardest, put forth all of our effort, studied for those tests, or found our passion, most people won't remember what our GPA was in 10 years, and eventually, it won't matter. Our experiences are what shape us. We are who we are because of what we have gone through. The good and the bad, the people we met, the connections we made, the teams we were on, and the friends we had. Even out of school, it's important not to take a moment or opportunity for granted. We never know when that last one will come. Make sure you have no regrets to look back on. Now, as we all move on to school, work, training, or wherever else the future takes us, make sure to use these past few months and truly remember to live in the moment. Don't take your relationships for granted. Show others how much they are appreciated. Do everything like it could be your last. Learn from these experiences and show your heart. Don't leave any regrets, and most of all, don't take a moment for granted. And now, we would like to recognize our senior choir.
Good afternoon. As Superintendent of the Plymouth School District, I am proud to be present here today, celebrating the accomplishments of the 2020 graduates. On behalf of the Board of Education and the entire Plymouth School District, I want to say congratulations, Class of 2020. Graduates, you are here today marking the end of a journey through elementary, middle, and high school, and to celebrate the accomplishments in which you have achieved and the relationships you have built over your years in the Plymouth School District. I know this journey has been much different than you anticipated. You have had many challenges to overcome, but I encourage you to hold on to your dreams and the things that you are passionate about. These will guide you through this journey and help you to define your purpose so you can become the best part of yourself and impact the world in positive ways. As you journey into your future, I want you to know that my wish for you is to find what it is that makes you happy. Choose a career that you are passionate about and make the difference on the world that you wish to make. Today is a day of celebration, a day to take time and remember your years at Plymouth High School. It's also a time to begin to look forward to your next steps in life. And through your time in Plymouth High School, I believe you have been fully prepared to enter into the next stage of your life. But remember, as one of my most favorite educators, John Dewey, once said, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. As you move forward into your next stage in life, whatever your path, it is my hope that the Plymouth School District has provided a place for you over the past years to gain the knowledge, the skills, the confidence, and the courage to approach your future with the spirit of hope, to achieve your dreams and continue to learn in every moment possible and to make this world a great place for all. Graduates, you have spent the last 13 years discovering who you are, and because you have taken advantage of the excellent education the Plymouth community has provided you, your dreams will be achieved, and your next journey will be one with many opportunities in which you are now ready to embark upon. I wish you well in your endeavors, and I thank you for making the Plymouth School District and the Plymouth community your home over the past years. I will leave you with the words of a favorite quote of mine by Mary Ann Radmacher, who states, "The jump is so frightening between where I am and where I want to be, but because of all I may become, I will close my eyes and leap." Graduates, you are ready to leap. Today is also important to thank those who have partnered in your success. Receiving your diploma brings a sense of pride for your family and for all of us here to celebrate with you today. This pride is shared by all your teachers, principals, the district support staff, and the entire Plymouth community, because it symbolizes the outstanding educational programs of the Plymouth School District and the commitment of everyone who understands the potential of an exceptional education. So parents, family members, friends, the staff of the Plymouth School District and community of Plymouth, thank you, and congratulations to all of you as we celebrate the achievement of these students today. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker. Each year, the graduating class selects an individual to address them on this important occasion. This year, the class of 2020 has chosen Mr. Dan Lamb. Mr. Lamb has served as a social studies teacher at the Plymouth High School for the last 18 years. He graduated from Lakeland College in Sheboygan with a Bachelor's of Arts in Education to teach Broadfield Social Studies and went on to receive his master's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee in U.S. History. He has taught courses in citizenship, economics, and U.S. history, including advanced placement courses in economics and history. He also serves as a student council advisor at Plymouth High School. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dan Lamb.
Congratulations, grads, and welcome to all family and friends, school district staff, and community members. Here's one thing you grads and I have in common. We like to plan ahead. You're planning for college, tech school, careers, military service. I'm starting to plan for whatever I want to do when I eventually retire. But this year has taught us that life throws us curveballs. World crises or outside developments, things that we have no control over. They can foil our plans. Well, get used to it. And that brings us to the three main points I want to get across today. Expect curveballs in life. Sometimes these curveballs can turn into footnotes, and sometimes good things happen as a result of those curveballs. Now, historically, you're not the first people to get curveballs thrown at you. Think of the guys that graduated from Plymouth in 1942, 43, 44, or 45. Some of them got drafted before they could finish high school. There's a reason why they're referred to as the greatest generation. Or think of Aaron Elster. Aaron was 8 years old in 1940 in Poland, growing up in a Jewish family. Then Nazis fenced off the Jewish areas of his town to create a ghetto. By the time he was 10, the Germans started to liquidate the ghetto. That was the code word they used for shipping the remaining people to work camps or death camps. On his mother's orders, Aaron ran out of town, escaped the Nazis, and ended up being taken in by a Christian family that had a farm outside of town. That's where he stayed for the next 2 years, hidden in their attic. They brought him up food and water once a day. They had a pail for him to use as a bathroom. No books, no communication, no radio, hunger, boredom, complete isolation. The attic was cold in the winter, like an oven in the summer. But he survived until the Germans were driven out of that part of Poland. Aaron Elster wrote a book about his wartime experiences. The title, I Can Still See Her Haunting Eyes, refers to his 6-year-old sister, who was a victim of the death camps. That curveball affected him his entire life. Now, thankfully, most of life's curveballs aren't that bad. And this got me thinking, what curveballs did I have to deal with? So I put together a list of outside events that disrupted my life. First off, I never knew my grandma. She died in 1918, a couple of months after my father was born, presumably a victim of the Spanish flu epidemic, but her exact cause of death will probably never be certain. A real curveball for my grandfather. But she still has impact on my life today. In my classroom, when I give kids work time, there's always a couple of kids that don't seem to get much accomplished. And that's when I say to them, you know, my grandma could do this faster than you, and she's been dead for 100 years. And then those kids don't know if I'm telling the truth or if I'm just messing with them. And then they try to usually do the math to see if this is even possible. And then they usually give up, so they don't know what to think. Fast forward to October 1962. Cuban Missile Crisis. I would have been 3. Of course, I don't remember it, but it did impact me later in first grade. We did those nuclear attack drills where you had to hide under your desk. Now, I don't know if I was the only first grader that had seen the photos of Hiroshima, but crawling under the desk seemed ridiculous. But when you're in first grade, you don't challenge the teacher. I didn't stand up and say, Miss Eggers, this is stupid. You usually just do what you're told. In second grade, I had to deal with another traumatic curveball. That year, Audrey was my girlfriend. We were making all kinds of plans. We were going to get married. We had picked out the house we were going to live in. She was going to have a cat. I was going to have a sheepdog. She wanted a red Ford Mustang convertible. I wanted a pickup truck. So we compromised on an El Camino. Then one day she said that her family was moving, and apparently I didn't ask enough of the right questions because a day or two later she was gone for good. I was shocked. That was it. My life was officially over. Now remember how I said some curveballs turn into footnotes? Well, today Audrey isn't even a footnote to a footnote. In fact, I had to look through some old pictures to even remember her last name. Audrey, wherever you are, I sure hope you're not listening to this. I was in middle school during the Vietnam War, so I was too young to be affected much, or so I thought. But during high school, my parents never, ever encouraged or suggested that I go to college. I didn't end up going to college until about 13 years after high school. Later, I found out that my parents were worried about the violent protests that occurred on college campuses. They figured I'd be better off if I didn't go. And who knows, maybe they were right. 1976 was my junior year in high school, the year of the big ice storm in March. There was about a half an inch of ice on everything in most of Wisconsin. Trees and power lines were down everywhere. I grew up on a dairy farm, and we were out of power for 9 days. And it's a lot of work to maintain a herd of cows with no electricity. 9 days that going to school wasn't even brought up as an option. And I don't remember if school was canceled or if it was, for how long. But now the whole event is just another footnote. In 1984, my wife and I bought our first house. The late 70s and early 80s were times of high inflation. And Paul Volcker, the chairman of the Federal Reserve at the time, increased the federal funds rate to 20%. So our first home loan in 1984 carried a 13.75 interest rate. And that was good. My sister bought a house 2 years earlier, and her rate was 19%. Now, our macroeconomics textbooks, they refer to the Fed jacking interest rates and the resulting pain that's inflicted on citizens. It's known as the process of disinflation. Today, you can get a home loan for 3%, and not everybody appreciates how cheap that is. Fast forward to 1998, the big flood, August 1998. Our house in Sheboygan didn't have a flooded basement, but we spent days helping out friends who did. And our current house has a sewer drain that goes right through everybody's backyard, that collects everybody's sump pump water, a legacy of the big flood. And of course, you can't have a flood without a parade, a Disney parade. Ask someone who's old enough to remember. September 11th, 2001. Everybody knows what happened that day. That was my first year of teaching at PHS. And there were students who had friends or relatives in New York, or they knew somebody who was traveling and was now unable to get home. Now, this was a real curveball, a nationwide punch in the gut, especially for my son-in-law, who later spent a year deployed in Afghanistan. The last curveball I'm going to mention is the Great Recession of 2009 and 10. Nationwide, the unemployment rate went up to over 10%. I really wasn't affected much. You guys would have been 7 or 8, so who knows what you remember. This would be a good topic to ask your parents about, especially if they were employed as carpenters, plumbers, or anything in the building trades. In 2009, in Sheboygan County, there was 1 new house built. For anyone who was unemployed, this was a real curveball, not a footnote. Which takes us to 2020 and our current curveball. Some of us have experienced larger disruptions than others. The disruption is fresh in our minds. And because you don't want to listen to me forever, let's go back and review the 3 points I wanted to get across. Number 1, expect curveballs in life. This certainly won't be the last outside shock that the world throws at you. If you were in my personal finance class, you know this is why you want to have an emergency fund. Life is a lot less stressful when you have $5,000 just collecting dust in your savings account. You won't earn much interest, but you'll sleep a lot better at night. Sometimes these curveballs turn into footnotes. Remember Audrey, my wife from 2nd grade, or the big ice storm of '76? A lot of crises situations deteriorate into footnotes over time. Lastly, number 3, some good things happen as a result of curveballs. Let's give you some examples. For starters, I've learned a bunch of new technology skills: virtual conferencing, video editing, Google Classroom tricks, all things I probably wouldn't have done otherwise. As a planet, our carbon emissions are down about 8%. Everyone's driving less, which is good news if you're concerned about climate change, and you should be. If you like the idea of working from home, this crisis has shown that a lot of jobs can be done from home, an economic trend that will probably become the norm. Now, because of COVID-19, you can get a driver's license without taking a road test. This is really good news for anybody who's watching this as a sophomore or younger. Lastly, remember how I was too young to be drafted during Vietnam? My current neighbors are an Asian couple in their late 30s. Without a doubt, their parents or grandparents came here as Vietnam War refugees. That was a huge curveball for their generation. And because of the coronavirus outbreak, she got laid off from her job at a beauty salon. So because people were stuck at home more, I ran into her more often, got to know them better. And to help make ends meet, she started selling homemade egg rolls out of her home. That was the best thing that ever happened. The best thing that ever happened. And now she's back at a regular job, but she still occasionally makes egg rolls if you let her know ahead. Did I mention that this was the best thing that ever happened? So, in conclusion, 40 years from now, you can do what I just did. You can reminisce about all of your life's curveballs. Some will be real curveballs, some will be footnotes, and some crises will have a silver lining. COVID-19 will be on your list in one of those 3 categories. Thank you, and now back to Dr. Rauscher.
And now, the moment we have been waiting for, the presentation of the Plymouth High School Class of 2020. In a few moments, you will see our graduates' photos as I read their names. In a typical graduation ceremony, I would ask, seniors, are you ready? After a moment, I would continue with, I'm not sure I'm ready. Something doesn't seem quite right. Something's missing. We need, yes, I know what we need. We need a poem. Actually, this is more than a poem. It's a wish for you graduates. It's a wish your parents and families have been wishing for you from the time you were just a tiny peanut. It's a wish your teachers and neighbors have wished for you from the time you started kindergarten. It's a wish your community wishes for you as you move into your future. It is Sister Ida Ford's vocation blessing. I hope you come to find that which gives life a deep meaning for you, something worth living for, maybe even dying for, something that energizes you, enthuses you, and enables you to keep moving ahead. I can't tell you what that might be. That's for you to find, to choose, to love. I can just encourage you to start looking and support you in the search. Okay, now I think we're ready. Let's present our class of 2020. Jana Marie Allstrand. Benjamin Gordon Allswede. Jordan Valerie Anderson. Kennedy June Arbuckle. Nora Josephine Argel. Tate William Beth. Travis Matthew Barber. Magdalene Hazel Berg. Kyle Albert Bermke. Lauren Elizabeth Billman. Sarah Mary Bierenbaum. Elise May Black. Catherine Ruth Bondi. Cole Christopher Booth. Anna Rose Brink. Catherine Mavis Brinkman. Carolyn Ruby Britt. Connor Scott Bruckner. Madison Rebecca Bruner. Bryce Michael Brigard. Teresa Leone Carba. Courtney Nicole Casper. Blanca Cervera Barado. Joshua Michael Christian Coley. Ethan David Curtis. Bennett William Dale. Ethan Paul Eigenberger. Dylan Curtis Ernst. Zoe Marie Ertl. Caitlin Joy Fisher. Ashlyn Lee Fleck. Lauren Ray Flood. Ryan Andrew Fredrickson. Carly Ann Frick. Alexandria Marie Giroux. Julia Rose Gosha. Luke Carson Gazer. Isaac Manuel Gonzalez. Traden Mitchell Gonzalez. Cooper John Gussie. Elizabeth Ann Gubitos. Samuel John Hafman. Franzian Alan Ahadullah Halipa. Madeline Helen Hockey. Mason William Helmer. Caitlin May Hoyne. Alexis Lenora Holloway. Deshaun Germain Holloway. Jacob Hunter Honick. Kalen Robert Hughes. Riley James Hubertsy. Logan Davis Yeager. Chase Lane Jasinski. Halen Jeffrey Johnson. Rosalia Caroline Johnson. Ethan Atienza Joseph. Reese James Justinger. Alicia Ann Cotfor. Gracie May Kazabuski. Arian Sebastian Keller. Jack Lee Keller. Lauren Elizabeth Kent. Joshua Mark Kessler. Sarah Jo Klaas. Carissa Emily Kleinhans. Isaac John Holman. Isaac Edward Kraus. Kyle Palmer Kraus. Callie Rose Kraus. Dakota Ann Krebsbach. Dallas Kathleen Krisa. Elizabeth Joan Krieger. Ian Herman Krieger. Jackson Daniel Krieger. Dalton Robert J. Laporte. Clayton James Lautenschlager. Carter Allen Lawrence. Maxwell Earl Lindsay. Ethan John Lillyquist. Maxwell John Luddington. Ashley Elizabeth Malek. Azure Danielle Mackey. Logan Timothy Manthe. Caleb Eugene Marquardt. Dylan Alexander Marquardt. Caitlin Rose Marthenzi. Isabella Kate McCabe. Luke Emmanuel McKinch. Riley Peter McMullen. Isaiah Michael Mendenhall. Joseph Adam Murtis. Alexis Diana Meyer. Sandra Jo Meyer. Chance Oliver Miller. Jack Murphy Miller. Grace Elizabeth Mooney. Levi Anthony Mugen. Brianna Jolie Mullins. Clayton Warren Neese. Mitchell James Nelson. Levi David Nimitz. Tanner Joseph Nett. Alec James Nicholson. Cami Patia Nikolaus. Kinsey Carola Ninneman. Peyton Alexis Nishke. Haven Grace Norton. Jessica Ann Norton. Jennifer Faith Novotny. John Henry Nugent. Benjamin James Olson. Leighton Patrick O'Neill. Alexander James Odie. Christy Leland Pelletier. Kylie Ray Petrie. Morgan Marie Phipps. Brady Todd Pratt. Christina Marion Pringle. Emily Rose Prisbilla. Aiden Edward Riley. Maisie Violet Riley. Victoria Hudik Revsky. Tristan Blaine Rourke. Amanda Jane Sager. Ava Brianne Schilder. Jocelyn Grace Schnelly. Cami Ann Schrader. Noah Robert Scadella. Anna Elizabeth Seifert. Jasmine Jo Seifert. Alexa Lynn Sheridan. Samuel Robert Shutter. Kiara Brooke Smeltzer. Kalani Jean Lealoha Smith. Samantha Marie Solfest. Stephanie Marie Solfest. Andrew Chad Steinhardt. Lucas Robert Sternard. Natalie K. Stewart. Claire Kathleen Strelo. Celia Tellenbach. Nicholas Lawrence Thomas. Jonathan Kenneth Riley Tomey. Matthew Aaron Tim. Gabrielle Nicole Tock. Isaiah Peter Torreson. Andrew James Van Norwick. Sarah Marie Vondervellen. Ashley Donna Walcott. Austin Stewart Walker. Darrell Walton. Kevin Christopher Weisensell. Joel McKinley Williams. Preston Alden Winter. Grace Marie Winbeen. Zachary Michael Ziefeld. Michael Anthony Zipperer Jr.
Thank you, Dr. Rauscher. As we finish the graduation ceremony, I'd like to invite you all to shift your tassels from right to left with me to symbolize our graduation. I would like to thank everyone for attending this graduation ceremony. Even though this school year started off strange with the construction of the high school and ended unusually with online learning, I would like to remind everyone that just because the beginning of 2020 didn't go according to plan, this doesn't mean that we can't make something amazing out of the end of 2020. The adjustments to life gave us a challenge to grow stronger. Whatever path you're on after we graduate, I would like to wish you good luck. Go Panthers!